Mr. Chair, I move that we go out of closed session for the purpose of property acquisition and litigation.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell and a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Take a short break and then we'll reconvene and get started. So, my daughter Lily was like, hey, we were talking about, hey, we gotta get my stuff from the ATV over to the side. She's like, do you think I should ask her if she wants me to take the fair phone? That's her call, so she doesn't want to. Well, so she goes down, she asks Hey, he's like, oh yeah, sure. She goes down, so take that. It's not been turned on since last spring. We paid for a phone and for somebody to answer it, and they're not doing it. Yeah, like you're freaking kidding
I was
me.
in here too. I need to. While we talk about sitting up at the kill some ice in, maybe I said, I'm going to watch that shit. On my phone.
Like,
You kidding me?
seriously?
Yeah.
No,
Why?
I did earlier. It's not there. Which one? Other doctor there. It's just over here. It's one of the best things.
Yes, he has it. That's just. Okay. Man, you got a sticker.
A sticker?
I didn't get you nothing. You got me a sticker.
Is that a sticker or is that a
I
just
think
a
it's a sticker.
So you actually peel off the back. It's kind of hard to peel off. Peel off the back and then stick it on, and then you can peel off the front as well. And all that will stay is the leather.
Just put it right there in the middle, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We
Oh, that's
these
pretty
made for the
thin.
Kitty fair, but I thought you guys might enjoy some.
That's cool, yeah.
Thank you. Hi.
Sorry.
Hi.
Aaron has
Oh,
Awesome.
Von Nick. Von Nicholson. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Darren.
Mike. Mike. This is the Mike.
Yeah, where is she? What country is she in?
Just out of town. Somewhere between here and there.
I didn't know she was in another country.
Her son's getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she said she was in another country in another email too, so I don't know.
guess that's true.
That's always nip and tuck.
I heard that on KSL.
Utah County, they you heard his comments?
Well,
What's been said?
I got a text.
He's so nice to me when we're in their meetings. Oh, no. I feel bad for him. His wife died. That's too bad. He did. I guess you peel one side off, rub them on, and then you peel the other side off, and all that stays is the letters. It's pretty hard to peel off at first, but then you peel the back off, and then you rub it on, and then you peel the front off, and all that stays is the letters.
When you order like it's one of the transfers. Oh, you came back. You don't get to. Just depends on what you want to identify at the time. Don't return it.
Well, flagship. I don't care who makes that much. I swear, every vacation is one of my vacation.
I was about to say.
You're right.
Well, you, I got it. You got to just finish that.
Oh, I've never gone to Alaska in late August.
Kim's. No, except for technical. March to. He's running between. Looks like walk from here to come.
To Soldotna. They're huge trout. They just sit there. They're coming to us fine. Tina? Okay, good.
Raylene, where are you at? You traveling the world somewhere?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm in Spain.
Good for you. You're staying up late then if you're in Spain.
I know, it's 1 a.m.
Oh my. All right. We'll make these motions as fast as we can so you can go to
All
sleep.
right.
She's super awake.
Are you drinking?
She's gonna answer on camera.
No comment.
Okay,
That's
we
true.
are
You're not live yet. Sorry.
20 seconds away.
Is it crazy there since they won the World Cup?
Oh my goodness. Insane. It was insane. Yeah. I was in the midst of all of it, so let's just say they didn't stop celebrating till 5 a.m. for 2 nights in a row. Yeah.
Well, we welcome your dedication. Thanks for being here with us. Because I wouldn't have done that.
Viva España.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and start our meeting. Welcome, everyone, and those that are online. Appreciate you being here. And those that come to share their comments, we appreciate them also. We're going to have an invocation by Commissioner Nickerson. He'll also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll go to our consent agenda items.
Our dear Father in heaven, we are grateful for this day and for the opportunity we have to meet as a county body and to represent the people, and pray that thy Spirit may dwell with us, that we may have good conversation and as we discuss the needs of our communities. We're so grateful for this beautiful valley in which we live and for those who protect us, and ask you to bless them who are out and watching over us, that they may be safe and protected. We're so grateful for all of our many blessings, for the moisture we have received, and pray that we will continue to receive this much needed moisture. We're so grateful for all of our many blessings and all that we have and all that we enjoy, and we love you so much and say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you
Amen.
please rise and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, small consent agenda item list. So I'm assuming that everybody is good with that. I will tell you that I've got someone that I'm waiting for a yes or no, up or down answer on the Milton area, and he would be wonderful if you guys, I'll share that with you, and if you have any influence with him, it would be helpful too. So
Great. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
I
opposed? Okay. Motion's unanimous. Any conflicts of interest, commissioners, tonight? Okay,
no.
seeing none, then we'll move to our public comment section. Any of our, we have one for sure online, correct?
I haven't heard.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we have anyone in our audience that has any public comment? Okay, seeing none on that, we'll wait for our online
He's on.
public comment. Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Honorable Chair Wilson and Honorable Commissioners, my name is Kent Singleton. I am speaking to the agenda item as F1. I do not oppose lawful law enforcement protection for Wasatch Peaks or any other Morgan County property owner. I respectfully ask for this honorable commission to not extend an identified agreement until the public record is complete and clear. Morgan County's records appear to describe at least two different arrangements. The November 19th, 2024 minutes approved is one arrangement. A later arrangement, June 17th, 2025 is another arrangement. Tuesday's agenda now refers generally to an interlocal agreement with Wasatch Peaks Ranch, and the states that the agreement expired last year, July the 18th of 2025, while the Honorable Sheriff's Office continued providing services. Before voting, please identify the exact agreement being extended, its execution and expiration dates, the precise legal parties, and the authority under which services continued after expiration. Please state whether the proposed action is prospective, retroactive, or intended to ratify services already provided. What services are continued, who authorized them, what compensation was paid or remains due, what insurance, reimbursement, indemnification, and liability provisions governed the expired period. Please also disclose the written standards governing special contracted or enhanced Sheriff's Office services for private properties and developments. That question is relevant to Taggart. I do not claim that Taggart and Wasatch Peaks are factually or legally identical, and I am not asking this honorable commission to adjudicate title during 3 minutes of public comment. I am asking why continuing Sheriff's Office services can be formally arranged for one private property interest, while I cannot obtain a clear written trespass enforcement position, meaningful administration review, or identification of the records instrument supporting Morgan County's competing ownership claim at Taggart. Morgan County facilitates public and commercial recreation activity associated with Taggart while telling me that I must bear the expense of litigation before receiving meaningful clarification or protection. On July the 18th, I provided Wasatch Peaks and the Property Rights Office detailed written notice of these concerns. Please include that communication with today's meeting record.
That's time.
Before,
thank you.
I've got one line left. Do you want to hear it?
Go ahead and finish your line.
Before approving action item F1, please place the operative agreement, proposed extension, authorized records, service records, payment terms, insurance provisions, and applicable Sheriff's Office policies in the public record.
Thank you. Anyone else that has any public comment? Okay, if not, we'll move to our presentations. Weber Basin Conservancy District, welcome.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity of addressing the commission. Just, I guess informally, just describe exactly what we're doing and what kind of programs we've got going and kind of what the water situation as a whole as well. So thank you very much for the invite.
Can you state your name and title for
sorry.
our clerk?
Yes, my name is Scott Paxman. I'm the general manager of Weber Basin Water Conservancy District. Okay, so just to fill you in a little bit about Weber Basin, and I'm sure most of you know this, but there's probably some that this is new. So our service area covers 4 counties, Weber, well, 4 counties: Davis, Weber, Summit, Morgan, and a little bit of Box Elder counties. And we serve about 725,000 people in those counties. A lot of them, especially on the Wasatch Front, but drinking water is our primary function along the Wasatch Front, as well as irrigation water, industrial water, commercial water, and so forth. Next. So there's the 5 counties, sorry. Okay, so we've got 7 dams that we control and operate on the system. That's on the Weber River system as well as Ogden River. And it starts up all the way up to Smith and Morehouse, Wanship. We operate Echo Reservoir, although it's not owned by our district, but we operate it. East Canyon Reservoir, Lost Creek Reservoir, Causey, Pine View, and then Willard Bay Reservoir as well. We operate and maintain 3 hydropower plants in the drainage, mostly attached to our dams, but also one attached to the Gateway Canal system. And we generate, for the most part, we generate most of the power we use in the district. So we only purchase that power that we absolutely have to. So these are some of the different types of water that we provide service for. And I wanted to just touch on the replacement water component of those services, since in Morgan County, that's kind of the primary water that we provide. So next slide. Next. So replacement water. So why do we call it replacement water, and why is it provided? We call it replacement water because we're actually allowing, well, to start with, the whole drainage was closed to new appropriations back shortly around the time that our district was formulated, back in the 1960s, 50s. And so anybody that doesn't have a water right, they either purchase water from someone else that has water rights, but we allow people in the watershed, if they don't have access to a municipal or community water system, that they can come to us, purchase a water contract, which is basically a lease of water, and drill a well anywhere in the watershed. And once that well is drilled and begins to produce water, we're required to release that same amount of water from one of our reservoirs, the closest reasonable reservoir in our system. And we've probably got about 30,000 replacement water contracts in Morgan, Summit, Upper Weber counties that take advantage of that process. There are other entities that also do replacement water contracts, and that's Davis and Weber County Canal, Weber River Water Users Association. So it's not just us, but it's anybody that has storage on the system that's.
Will you explain that to me again? I guess I. Okay. So someone drills a well.
They contract with us
to
first.
Release.
Yes, they drill a well for, let's say it's 1 acre foot.
Okay.
They drill a well, and to drill that well, they have to go to the state engineer and file for an exchange, and they use our contract for the basis of their exchange. And once
So when you say release, you're not releasing it out of the dam.
yes, we are releasing it out of the dam to make sure that no one downstream, no senior water right holders are harmed. That's basically what we're required to do. The state engineer, with the river commissioner on the Weber River, he makes sure that we're releasing that water. So he makes sure the books are balanced mostly on that replacement water contract.
And that's only to provide downstream that water that they would have normally had from the storage units to replace that in the.
Yeah, assuming, and it's a good assumption, assuming that the surface water and groundwater are all connected, and most of the senior water right holders primarily are in the lower Weber River side. So those older irrigation companies on the lower Weaver. And so that's who we're trying to make whole, just to make sure that they,
So in
Get
this
their water.
type of environment where we're not getting any water,
Mm-hmm.
do you slow down on?
no, I mean, whatever is drawn from those wells, that's what we have to release. And,
But I mean issuing new.
oh,
That is new.
yeah, but that's historical. It's every, 30,000 contracts. So, yeah, no, I mean, it has been slower just because of my next slide. It'll tell you what kind of costs are required for a new water right, for a new contract with Weaver Basin. So it's about almost $11,000 for 1 acre, not even 1 acre foot, for 0.64 or 65, 0.65 acre feet. So $9,750 is for an impact fee. $374 is for the annual water charge for that 0.665. And then we charge an inspection and a meter connection fee of $480.
So you've quadrupled that in the last few years.
At least.
May I ask
Yes.
a question?
Sure.
On those charges, the meter connection, by state law now, they have to put in a meter connection. Who comes out and reads those?
So we will be coming out to read them.
So you will come out to the new home wherever they ask for the permit,
Yeah.
and they'll meter it.
Right from the very start, the state engineer has always required measurement devices put on wells, but they've never enforced it. And about 3 years ago, we told the state engineer, well, we asked them, are you guys going to enforce it? If you're not, we have to enforce it because we don't know whether we really need to be releasing water or not without that accountability. So, so we've been making sure the meter's installed correctly. We actually furnish the meter as part of that $480. And then we asked the homeowner or the property owner to actually read the meter for us, and then we occasionally will come up and verify. So that's what the program is.
Okay, so just to go off of this, this is for a culinary. What about for secondary water? Because that was a law also put into place where they had to meter it. Who's supposed to be metering those?
So on the replacement water, in the Wasatch Back, it's all one. I mean, they're using the same well typically for indoor and outdoor use.
Okay,
So it's all metered, correct.
and how did they come up with 0.65?
It's a long story. And do we have Logan here?
No, I wish we did.
Invited him. So the board, how many years ago was that? 3 years, 4 years? 3 or 4 years ago, our board, we determined that we're running out of water. We don't have a lot of water left to sell. And we wanted to stretch that supply and make sure that it was beneficial to as many people as possible. So before that policy by the board, we basically sold whatever water the petitioner required or wanted. If he had 10 acres, he could come in and get 30 acre feet. Since that policy was passed, it doesn't matter whether you've got a half an acre or 10 acres or 20 acres, it's 0.65 acre feet. It's basically enough for indoor water use and a small amount for basically a garden and a small yard.
Yet up here, and that's my question, is up here, most of us are on secondary water. Why would they need so much for a household if they don't use anything for the outside and it's all secondary water?
Absolutely, yes. And they don't have to apply for 0.65, they can do something less. If they've got outdoor coverage, they could probably get by with 0.25 of an acre foot. So, and they're willing, or they're able to just contract for 0.25 or whatever they
And
want.
so the yearly charge for them is now currently $374. I thought it was $700.
So that's per 0.64 acre feet. And so that price per acre or per acre foot really hasn't changed much. But where the big change is the impact fee. We're putting a lot of infrastructure in the ground. We're starting to replace a lot of federal infrastructure. aqueducts, canals. So we're doing a lot of major investments in infrastructure, and thus the need for the impact fee.
That price is just a high amount.
It is
The
extremely
impact
high.
fee is super, super high, and I'm just surprised that you've got that high of a fee for impact when, I'm sorry, up here at the upper end of the Weber Basin, we don't have any of that infrastructure we're having to put in. It's all for the lower value.
But without the
valley, so why do we have to?
infrastructure, we wouldn't have the water to provide, because we're drilling wells. We're also raising dams. We raised Willard Bay by 2 feet, which gave us another 20,000 acre feet of water to sell. Without those projects, we wouldn't have water to even provide replacement water contracts at all. So the impact fee, it's really to benefit everybody in the entire watershed. But
Can you give me the thought process on draining Pine View in this type of a season?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's Ogden City. Ogden City is the one that required us to drain, and it's probably recorded, but I told them over my dead body. I mean, that's ridiculous. Why would you ever drain a reservoir, especially on a year like this?
Yeah.
And they showed me a contract, 1954 contract and a 1970 contract that was signed by Weber Basin, Pineview Water Users, the Bureau of Reclamation, and Ogden City. Because Ogden City had a whole well field down in the bottom of the reservoir, artesian wells that had to be moved as part of the Pineview project, raising Pineview Dam. And so Bureau over a barrel. So they basically agreed to dictate that Ogden City could ask for the dam to be drained so that they can inspect or replace that water line. So they had the wells, plus they have a water line that goes right through the bottom of the reservoir. And that's what they're planning on replacing, is that water line. And that agreement basically allowed them to do that at any time.
And we can't wait a year?
They could. They don't want to.
Wow.
And I don't know if there is a good year, honestly. Next year, hopefully our reservoirs
Sure.
are full. Then we'd have to drain all of the water. And most of it we could not even save. We couldn't catch. This year we're trying to save. We have what we call as an exchange agreement with the lower irrigation companies, that we can deliver their water out of Pineview or Willard and keep their water up in Echo and East Canyon. So we're doing quite a bit of that so that we can preserve the water in the system and still be able to operate next year. So yeah, that's a good question.
I just have one other question, then I'll shut up, but I worry about we always had the lake effect, so I'm just sitting here thinking, we're never gonna have the lake effect again that I can see.
Well, not to the same degree, yes.
And so no lake effect, no snow, less lake effect, less snow, less. It seems like to me, maybe I'm,
It feels like it, absolutely. I told my staff I'm still on the opinion that we're in a bad part of the cycle, and that at some point it's going to turn around and we're going to start getting some wetter cycles. I don't know. It's my best, I don't know, excuse that of what we're in. But it feels like it's climate change, and we're seeing temperatures just rise. We're seeing water levels and water consumption going up. And it is not an easy thing to deal with.
okay.
So when our reservoirs are full, and Darren will get into this a little bit, but when they're completely full, we have a 2-year water supply. That's it. It seems like a lot, but that's not much. And so we're always looking at, okay, what happens if the next year, what happens if 27 is the same as 26? We're basically going to have enough water for a drinking water supply, period. We won't have any irrigation. That was a possibility in 22 as well. And then it started raining that spring. And so we relaxed some of the restrictions, but the drier these years get, the more likely that scenario is going to happen, which I just can't believe. But okay, I'm going to turn some time over to Darren to talk about where we're at on water supply.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Darren has AGM over operations for the district. So next slide. So that was a good segue into our water supply. You can see we've got the graphs there of the different reservoirs. We've selected 4 of them there. You can see Pine View, top left, the black line is current, blue line is average, and the red line is 2025. So you can see Pine View's taken a nosedive, and that's largely because of Ogden City's project. But also it is a lot of water use is taking place, because you can see the other reservoirs as well: East Canyon, Echo, and then Wanship, Rockport, all below the average in 2025, quite a bit below. So we know we're in the drought cycle, as Scott mentioned, and yeah, it's not good as far as our reservoir levels are concerned. So next slide. So then there's the snowpack or the SNOWTEL hydrograph from this last year. That's basically a compilation of all the years, and that black line is this last year. You can see when you combine all those previous years is that red line, and so that's the worst we've ever seen until this last year. And then you can see what the black line has done to set the record, unbelievably so, this last year. So statistically, we hope it's impossible to have another year like that where we're setting records. And forevermore, that will be the record now for all the combined years of snow hydrographs will be 2025. And that's, 2026. That's what we're going to see. We usually call it the second half of the season, so 2026. The previous year, the blue line there is 2025, and then the green line, a little bit lighter, is the average. So you can see how much lower we were from 2025, and that was just an average year. And then you got the massive year there in the blue, and much of that was 2023. So did have an amazing year snuck in there between all these dry years. So next slide. So this is our precip accumulation in the basin. You can see there the black line is tracking, fairly well with 2025. It is below the average. Let's just go to the next slide. We can see, so this is our soil moisture. This is something we've really been monitoring probably just the last 15 years or so, as we've had a lot of probes installed up in the watershed. But you can see there with the black on the left side of your screen how high that is above the green line, which is the average line, and how those October rains on the far left side of that graph, in October, those rains really set us up nicely for soil moisture. And we were really set up for a really nice runoff, because the fall period is critical to set the snow year up that we have moisture in the soil. And so, but as we know, the moisture never came in the wintertime, even though we were set up for a great runoff. So, and then you can just see how quickly that soil moisture has dissipated there on the right side of the graph. Next slide. So these are the weather forecasts. This is for July. We know we've had a few monsoon storms around. Some have dropped heavy rain throughout the state, and we know there's been reports of flooding that have taken place. Beaver has had a ton of flooding take place which has been exacerbated by the wildfire that they had down there. So they're really struggling down there. But you can see the temperature outlook warmer than usual, and our monthly precip does look like it's wetter or above average, which it's positive. And I know we have seen some monsoons up in this area too, in the Uintas and whatnot. So which has been positive. Next slide. So these are our district storage volumes, and this is an important slide. Like Scott mentioned, when we get, basically our average runoff, that's typically, and our total storage is good for a 2-year supply. Our district capacity is over 400,000 acre feet. In an annual, in an average year, we typically get about 200,000 acre feet that we will store in district facilities. You can see there 2020, 21, 22, 25, and 26 that they've all been quite a bit below average. 21 was extremely low, 2020 low, and then 2026 extremely low as well. In fact, it's impressive that 26 is that high, but a lot of that storage was in Willard Bay that just came down through the system. So. But that's why we're struggling really since 2020. Other than 2023, it's been a fairly dry pattern. So, okay, next slide.
Where was 23, just more or less, do you know that number?
So 23, we filled all of our reservoirs. And so
it was way up at the 400 mark.
Well, over 200,000.
Oh, okay.
400 is of
okay.
new. Yep. So usually we get half of that new storage in an average year. And we delivered upwards of 600,000 acre feet to the Great Salt Lake in 23. Wow. We basically emptied Pineview twice. So we ran that much water through Pineview, we could have filled it 3 times. So in 2023, the snowpack was just unbelievable. I'm sure up in this valley as well, but up in Ogden Valley, those people were digging out of 6-7 feet on the flat, right, at those elevations. I'm sure you guys were similar.
From evaporation then, on the Salt Lake.
What's that?
It's just all from evaporation?
Pretty much. 2 million acre feet evaporate off the Great Salt Lake every year. 2 million acre feet. If we were to release all of our water out to the Great Salt Lake from our reservoirs, when they're full, it would last 3 months out there. Because it's a plate, right? It's just a plate. It's not a bowl, So yeah, if we released all of our water, it would last 3 months out there. So, yeah. So we have challenges, on the Great Salt Lake. So these are our drought level triggers. Whenever we're in a drought, which has been fairly recent, fairly often lately. We did this about 7-8 years ago. We combined with the Bureau of Reclamation. We did a study, and these are the drought levels and the drought level triggers that we came up with throughout that study. And we did it not just with Weber Basin, but with a lot of cities along the Wasatch Front that participated in this study. So what we try to do is we project our June 1st storage, what that's going to be in our reservoirs. And that was about 350,000. We project that in March, what that number is going to be. And then we go to the drought level trigger on the right side of that graph and see where we're going to be. So you can see total storage wise, 350,000 puts us right in that severe category. Upper basin storage, that's subtracting off Willard Bay. We were 240,000 acre feet, which puts you in the moderate category. And then if you look at both that moderate and severe, if you go to that next slide, please. That shows that the reduction targets, if we're in the moderate category, response level 3, we would have a 20% reduction in secondary water, ag, and then M&I culinary outdoor water, and then a 5% reduction in the culinary indoor water. If we were in the severe category, we would do 40, 30, 40, 10, and that's what we did in 2022, the 40, 30, 40, 10. We were going to start at extreme. Like Scott mentioned, it started raining in the spring of 22, and after a couple of months, we were able to relax to severe. But we recommended the moderate category for our board, minus the 5% reduction in the indoor water. We felt like with our storage from the previous 2 years, we felt like we could do okay in that moderate category. So that was, next slide. That's the recommendation we made to our board. Staff did, and then the board agreed with that. So those are the reductions throughout the watershed with the 0% on the indoor water. And then we loaded the system May 1st, and we asked for no watering until May 15th. And we're actually shutting the system down September 15th, not October 1st. So 2 weeks earlier than that, we're going to go September 15th and shut the system down. So those months on either side, cutting those off, I know a lot of people don't agree with doing that, but we felt like that's what we had to do to try to trim some of the use that's out there. So, okay, next slide. And then these are the programs that Weber Basin involved in. I know it's kind of small on that far right side, but these are different programs the district participates in to really help folks and educate folks on how much water they're using on their own landscapes. A lot of folks don't realize when they irrigate their water, use their irrigation system one time, 3,000 to 4,000 gallons they're throwing out there on their landscape on a 1/4 acre lot. So you have an acre lot or whatever, multiply that by 4. That's a lot of water that you're throwing out there on your turf. And so a lot of people don't realize how much water they're using. And that could be equivalent to, your indoor use in a month. So the outdoor use is where we really have to.
In a day?
What's that?
In a day, you're saying?
One cycle of your irrigation sprinklers will use more water than you use in a month indoors. Like if your family's 4 or 5 folks. Yeah. So people don't really realize how much water they're spraying out there with 70 psi, and it's a lot of water. 3,000 to 4,000 gallons. So our learning garden, we have our learning garden there at our facility in Layton. We have all the public education programs that we're invested in, and they're listed there. We have the secondary metering program. We've done a ton of that over the last, Weber Basin's been doing it since 2009. We were kind of the first to start that program, and then the state and everybody jumped on board the last 3 years or so and helped fund that. And then irrigation product rebates, so we have those as well. But really, we're just trying to educate the public on how much water they're using.
So what's the trade-off though between xeriscape and having your yard be hotter than a pistol?
That's right.
And not producing any moisture going up into the area? I mean, what's the trade-off there too?
Yeah, I mean, there's a balance, right, between those two. There's definitely a balance, and definitely as we move as far as new landscapes and move forward, we're not saying you can't have any turf. We would recommend a low water use turf, a Tahoma 31 that still is turf, but it's low water use. It takes probably 70% less water than a Kentucky bluegrass, that's really not meant to be in these desert environments. I mean, in July, you got to put a lot of water on Kentucky bluegrass for it to look green. And so it's just really not meant for these really arid environments that we're in. But the Tahoma 31 is a really good product that Weber Basin is pushing hard now. We've got a lot of folks interested in that product. Chanshare Farms is actually growing that product and supporting that. And so now it's a warm season grass, so it likes it warm. So on the shoulder seasons, it's not going to be as green as a Kentucky bluegrass when Kentucky bluegrass likes the cooler weather. So it's going to be May 1st, May 15th before it really starts to green up, whereas Kentucky bluegrass is green in April. So there's a trade-off there, but I mean, this is used in athletic fields throughout the South, Southwest. It's a really durable product, and so it's a balance. We're not saying that we want to look like Tucson, with all of our new landscaping. Yeah, the heat island effect and everything that you're talking about, I think we got to be careful with. We don't necessarily want that here in Utah, so we have to balance that out. But I think a low water use turf is the way to go, warm season grass. Okay, and I think that's my last slide. So I'll turn it over to Scott.
So just to add on to that a little bit, we don't even allow people to put down just gravel or just concrete, or if they're replacing turf, we require that 30% of that landscaped area has to have some ground cover, some plant life, plant material. So, and most of the cities that we've been dealing with are also writing ordinances that require that as well. So, because that's real, the heat island effect is real.
So what is better, irrigation or sprinkler?
Better for who? Let's see.
Better for retaining water. 'Cause irrigation goes right back in the ground and
Right,
waters.
yeah, flood irrigation is effective, especially up here in Morgan Valley, where you've got to build up that groundwater anyway just to get your plants to survive. And then because it's so gravelly, so porous, flood irrigation is probably the only way you're going to be able to really grow a good crop. In other areas where there's a lot of clay, sprinkler irrigation is great because you don't have to put as much water down for a high yield crop. So it kind of depends. Yeah. While we were here, if I've got time, I wanted to touch on the tax, the increased property tax that we were going to do in the district this year. Next. So why property tax? Why does the district collect property tax? Well, the district, when we became the sponsor of the federal project, the federal Weber Basin project, it required a vote of the people to pass a property tax so that we could repay the federal government for the entire project, which we are still paying on that project 75 years later. So we're still.
Why so long?
Why so long? Just because it was so expensive. I mean, and we only paid for the components that were completed at the time they were completed. So Willard Bay was one of the last ones completed, and that was in the mid to early 60s. So they were basically 40-year contracts. But we borrowed money against it to rebuild the Gateway Canal and other things that have extended that deadline. So we've actually.
So is there a payoff date on this, or is it more a revolving line of credit, so to speak?
No, so we've actually paid the federal government off, but we've replaced it with some bonding that we keep refreshing.
So those are revenue bonds then, based on your collections?
Correct.
And so is Willard Bay basically that's the end of the water system, basically. And once it gets to a certain level, do you have to put it back into the Great Salt Lake? Is that how that works? Or does it come back in pumps and everything else?
So it's an off-stream reservoir, so it's not like we have to do anything. We can send water to the reservoir. We can pull it back from the reservoir back to the river. So, but on good years, that's exactly what we do. We send water out until it's full, and then we dump it out the other side of Willard to the Great Salt Lake, and just to maintain fresh water body.
Because some people have mentioned to me, why are we sending it down there and it never gets to the Great Salt Lake? And that's the question a lot of people have. I mean, why should we conserve our water, or why should we rent it to the Great Salt Lake or lease it to them if it's not really going to get down there?
Yeah. Not sure what the question is.
The question is it getting to the Great Salt Lake?
Oh, well, it's actually getting there faster if we can get it through Willard than going through the lower Weber River, which is chock full of Phragmite and other things that just stall the water out and just allow it to evaporate faster. So we think going through Willard makes more sense than just leaving it in the river. And that's another argument for evaporation on the Great Salt Lake. We think it makes more sense to hold as much of that water in upstream reservoirs where the evaporation rate is much lower, probably half, than sending it down to the Great Salt Lake and having it evaporate quicker. So that's the idea.
So you're saying that when that's paid off, the taxes then will be reduced. That's what you're saying.
Correct, yes.
Unless they do another revenue bond.
So, yes. But they're written right in the contract that a portion of that contract is for the repayment of the federal contract, the federal government. So, yes, that portion of it is removed, but it's fairly minimum, actually. Okay, back to property tax. The biggest thing I wanted to get to is it does help secure our debt and lower our interest rate. So we are a AAA bond rating, and a lot of it has to do with our ability to collect property tax. And what do we use that money for? Well, other than repaying the federal government, there's a lot of public good that goes to everyone in the watershed, that whether they're using any water or not, they benefit from that. Yes. So one of them is we release almost 90,000 acre feet from our reservoirs for fish flows, for the bird refuges, and that was built right in the federal contract with the Bureau of Reclamation. So that annual value is about $42 million, which is significant. We'd love to have that water back, actually, but it's an obligation that we have to meet. Flood control is another one that we are responsible for. From October 1st to April 1st, Weber Basin controls every reservoir on a flood control basis. First, our priority is to make sure we see that the reservoirs are full, but then we've got to make sure that we're protecting land and people downstream. And then recreation, conservation programs, some of that is funded out of the property tax. Next. Disaster mitigation, we contribute a fair amount of funds to the wildlife mitigation funds on public lands. Most of that is Forest Service. Let's see, drought mitigation, watershed protection, involved in all of those things that are very important to us and to all the people that live in the watershed. Okay, next. So our statutory rate is 0002, which is allowed by code, which is the lowest statutory rate of any water conservancy district in the state. In 26, it's kind of declined. I think we raised our recovered our property tax about 3 years ago. So currently it's at 000187. We're proposing to get back into the 0002 to basically afford to do some of the projects that we've outlined, as well as, and most of it is operation and maintenance of the federal project. So we have a different planning horizon than most public agencies. Cities, counties, they're looking at 5-10 years. We're always looking at a 50 to 75 year horizon, because we've got to plan decades for any new projects or any especially water development projects, which there aren't many left, and all the easy ones are gone. So it's going to take years and years. Next. So this is what we collect in property tax. About 19.5% of our budget is property tax. So our total projected property tax, $27,675,000, and that's kind of split up as you see on the right-hand side there. Next. Let's go one more. So, depending on which county you live in is how the property tax is assessed, but like for Morgan County on a this is probably typical. I don't know what your typical or average home value is, but is it? Okay, there you go. $786,000. That increase would go from $80.84 to $86.46. So it would increase and annually increase by $5.62 is what we're proposing. So just in case you get questions.
How is that determined? I mean, you've got the different counties that cost different amounts. How is that all determined?
It's based on their average household.
All based on the average.
That's our
Resident.
our
Because, I
average
mean,
residential home.
Summit County's paying $200 a year, or no, a year, $200 more a year.
Yeah, look at
But their
look at
average property is almost $2 million.
$2 million. Yeah.
Morgan
And
County, our
probably-
average home is only $786,000.
And a lot of that is as a result of Wasatch Peaks and some of the other large, very expensive developments that kind of kick that up. But either way, the average residence, one more slide, is looking at, oh gosh, I can't read that. 0.15% increase on your total property tax bill. So that's So whatever your property taxes or your property is valued at, it's 0.15%. Okay, that's all I had on our proposed property tax increase. If you have any questions.
Yeah, so how much of the increase goes towards increase in wages and salaries?
None.
None?
None. So all of the property tax, first priority is the federal project. So continue to pay the federal project, operation maintenance of the federal project, and replacement now is becoming a bigger and bigger issue of the federal facilities only. And then conservation, a portion of the conservation is out of that pocket, and that's about it.
Okay.
Everything else is rate covered.
So I know back when Weird Basin was formed and the Central Utah Project was formed, you guys were, I don't know, 20 minutes later. Not you guys, we were 20 minutes too late. And so because of that, Provo River, or the Central Utah Project, gets all the water they need before it comes to us. Is there anything to do about that? Because I know Rockport never fills anymore because they want to take it down to Deer Creek, and until their reservoirs are full, we don't get our water.
So just a little misnomer. So Echo was minutes before Provo or before Deer Creek.
Okay.
So Echo has to fill first, or is projected to fill before Provo gets water. But the Weber Basin project was the very last, and it's the junior right on the entire river. We don't fill at all until those two reservoirs are full. But the dilemma is we don't seem to ever fill Deer Creek.
That's right. That's right. They make sure that we
Yes,
don't.
they have rights in Utah Lake that they try to say that they're trying to cover. And it's so frustrating. It is super frustrating. And
Is
we've
there
talked with legislators, we've talked with the Bureau of Reclamation, trying to, especially the Bureau, because the Bureau of Reclamation is the title holder of all these federal projects. We're saying, all we're asking is a fair shake. That's it. And we're not getting anywhere yet. We're not giving up, but
Yeah, okay.
we hope
Thank
so.
you.
Absolutely. Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
Thank
No,
you so
thank you.
much. Appreciate it.
Okay, appreciate you coming. That was very informative. USU Extension,
Trenton.
welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me today. All that talk of water, I'm a little thirsty right now, so. just joking. Okay, so my name is Trenton Wilson, and it's Wilson with 2 L's for the record, if that matters.
I'm really good at misspelling names.
That's okay. It happens all the time. I am related to the 1L Wilsons in
Oh.
some capacity.
You're a 1L Wilson.
I'm a 1L.
I actually did know somebody from Morgan a long time ago, 1L Wilson, so maybe you probably know her
Probably.
or are related somewhere, but
Kelly, Kyle,
Stacy.
Robbie. Oh, no, don't know Stacy.
No, Stacy. Okay. Yeah, that was back in college a long time ago. All right, so again, my name is Trenton Wilson. I am a program specialist through the Utah State University Extension's Rural Online Initiative. You may have heard of us before. I am new to this area. I moved up from Richfield up to Logan just a month ago, and so we shuffled counties around. I now cover all of the top rural counties in Utah, and I used to be down in the central area. But what our program, I'll start out first of all with the annual report, which is up here right now. I'm not going to go through everything there, but just give a little bit of background. I've been with the program since 2018, since before remote work was cool. We started the program to help rural counties maintain their youth as the youth get into high school, helping them recognize that they can stay in their rural counties. There are opportunities for them to find work. A lot of them still go off and go to school, find jobs, work in this big city for a while. But that's one of the things that was part of it. But also unemployment rates are a lot higher in rural counties. The economic diversity, the opportunities in rural counties are a lot different. You guys probably have a lot of people commuting down into the valley. So they leave here and there's wear and tear on the cars, there's all sorts of stuff, there's traffic. So there's a lot of benefits to remote work. But last year we kind of created an umbrella system, which is the credit program. So you can maybe go to the next page there. So credit is, and I will have to read this because it's a long acronym. It's the Center for Rural Economic Development and Emerging Technologies. So that's kind of the umbrella program over all that we do. We have several different courses and programs that we teach. So first of all, our flagship one was the Workforce Development Arena, where we teach people how to work from home. So that's the Remote Work Certification course. That's what I teach. That's my role. But we help people with their careers, help them find job opportunities in working from home. And so that's a great course we have. We also teach a leadership course, which is geared to the companies who would like to manage remote teams or who already do manage remote teams. And that's a great resource for our professional students because these are companies that know about our program. They know how to manage remote teams. And so we can refer our students to those. We have a list of these companies that we know are remote friendly, and it helps a lot of people. So our biggest demographic for our course is usually stay-at-home moms. That's about 70% of the 70 to 75% of our students are stay-at-home moms. Our second biggest demographic are people who are close to retirement or retired, who would like to have, continue to earn a little bit of money. And then we're scattered throughout the rest of the demographics. But we also do a business development portion. We have an e-commerce accelerator program. And what that program is for, most of these are funded through the state legislature, but our e-commerce accelerator program is where we have a couple consultants who help businesses, either agriculture businesses, so agriculture could be anywhere in the state, or rural businesses create a e-commerce website. So if there's businesses in your communities that need help with their website, USU currently, if they apply, we do have a really long waiting list. And we've been trying to get additional funding to make it so we can get more consultants and more people on this team. But we have quite a few. We've helped a lot of businesses increase their sales by giving them a e-commerce website. So, and that's currently a free program. And then we have a lot of community development and capacity building. So this is sort of a new thing that under the credit umbrella we are doing. This is where we support communities and leaders in helping them with grants or with both economic development as well as workforce development. So that kind of brings me, well, let me, since we're on the annual report, we have had a lot of success in this program. We've had over 800 people in placements in jobs through the time that we've been doing this. Now that doesn't seem like a ton, but if you think about rural counties, most of those placements are rural county jobs. And so that translates to probably about, I think it's listed in there, over 80,000 jobs created if it were on the Wasatch Front. Let's see, so one of the things that I'm here mostly for is just to talk about, make sure that you guys know about our program so that you can support it. We often come into communities and do information meetings in person where we talk to your residents in the communities and help them know about opportunities for remote work. But the other thing is, and we can kind of jump to a couple of the grant things, And I recognize that you probably already have a place for the rural count, the RCG and the RCOG grants. If you've already done those, that's great. We just wanted to make sure that you knew that we want to help support communities, counties, and municipalities. The RCOG grant was recently renamed the Rural Community Opportunity Grant, meaning that your towns and cities in the county can also apply for that grant now. The $200,000, most counties have already kind of figured out what they wanted to do with that. We've got places for it. But we do have expertise, and we actually have great connections within the GoEd board in order to help people with the grants. We have actually seen that workforce development is kind of a priority with some of these grants. So if you're, and we've also seen where communities or counties have applied for, we need better lamps on our main street. That's really not much of an economic development thing. It might help things look pretty, but as far as economic development goes, that's not something that the board is really keen on. They really love workforce development based on what we've heard, based on some of the grants that have been given, and based on talking with people on the board. So we want to offer support letters. We want to offer grant writing, reviews, whatever it is. So as you're going for these grants, particularly the RCG or RCOG in the future, if you're already got those taken care of, but in the future, if you apply for those, just make sure that we're happy to support you through our program and through any others. And then again, just help us promote our courses, our resources for your communities and for the people that live here. So that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for me?
How hard is it to get into the remote professional line certification?
So in the course, the course is really easy to take the course, but to be able to find work afterwards, there are people that struggle. So it depends on what your skill level is, but at the end of the course, so I've been a career coach for over 15 years. So when I work with people, they actually get a career coach. They take the course, they have full access to me if that's what they want. I can help them with their resumes, I can help them with their interview. Our whole team is well trained with all of that. So we will help people as much as they want help. We do get a lot of people that go through the course and then we never hear from them again. We do reach out occasionally and say, how are things going? If you need any help, let us know. And there are a lot of people that will take us up on that. But there are still a lot of remote jobs out there. We hear from in the media that all of these big companies, Twitter and Microsoft and all of these big companies are pulling back and you have to work in the office. Those are just some of the big companies that do it. There's still a lot of companies that hire. We have that I mentioned the list of remote friendly companies on our website. There's over 50 companies that we've listed, and they're all good companies. So there's a lot of opportunity as far as the skills go to be able to qualify for those jobs. That's something. I will point out that we are developing a couple AI courses. So that's a skill that people need to know. We're also going to create a durable skills course. And that's for a lot of the times we get people who want to take our course, but they don't have any computer skills. We're creating a course that's just going to help them get those computer skills to be able to take our course and then be able to get a job.
Are they jobs that are full-time that provide benefits too?
Most of them are, yes.
Interesting.
So yeah, so I think it's more common to find a full-time job remote than it is a part-time job. A lot of the times people want that flexibility of remote work. There are 3 ways to work remotely. 1 is start a business. 2 is working as a freelancer. That's going to be the most flexible thing. If you have a skill that you can go out and find contracts, that you can do little jobs here and there. that's what people think when they are like, I want that flexible job for remote work. They're thinking contractor, freelance jobs. But then there are also the W-2. They tell you when you work, how you work, give you a schedule, these are your jobs, etc. So there's a lot of great opportunities that way. That's going to be the most common way to find a job is through W-2 type work. Yes.
So if somebody wants to find out about it, do they go to the website or do they go to you or who do they go to?
So the easiest website to remember is remoteworkcertificate.com.
Okay, so it's here.
And I believe that's on, so you'll find that on our annual report. There's also a flyer that I can leave a few of those here. But the website is, yeah, the easiest way to remember it is remoteworkcertificate.com. If you do /pro, that takes you right to the professional course for the people that are looking for jobs.
Okay, and so they can talk to a person then, not just a.
Yeah, our contact information is on our website. Even my personal cell phone and my email is on the website. So if people need to contact me, USU pays part of it gives me a stipend for my phone. So unfortunately, my personal phone number is out there online. So, but
Thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sorry, I spelled your name wrong.
That's okay. That's okay. It is super common. All right, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Trenton.
This was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Trenton. Appreciate it. Okay, that is the end of our presentations. Is anyone here for the F4 Flagship Homes Development Agreement portion? Anyone here for that? Okay, all right. You can go ahead and make a motion to postpone on that then.
Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone F4 to the August 4th.
Or do we have to have a public hearing?
It's not a public hearing.
Oh, that for Kent's on the 5th too, so, okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone item F4 to the August 4th commission meeting.
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Nickerson, second by Commissioner Newton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Oh, you're still with us. I'm glad.
Mr. Chair, can I make just a comment on that?
Yeah.
In reading the proposed development agreement, to me, they're a long ways off from where I'd like to be. I would suggest they schedule a work session to discuss that. And just for their information or for planning's information, the request to reduce commercial to 0 to me is a complete non-starter. You shouldn't be town center zone if you don't want commercial. So if they don't want any commercial, they should come ask for a rezone of all the property. And if not, then they need to work that out in some way, form or fashion.
I think that within the materials, it was talking about between them and the Gardner development needed to be.
It was, but it doesn't indicate
But it doesn't indicate.
how
that-
much is actually moving over. And I'm fine if that's the case. If they're gonna take their 35% and move it into a different area, the entire 35%, okay, cool.
Let's
But
see
if
the
it's
agreement.
this, we don't know exactly how much is moving or anything else, then that, to me, that's not acceptable.
So I might be able to shed a little bit of light on that because I talked to both Gardner and no, I can't. Now I'm trying to think who it was. It wasn't you. Maybe it was. No, it was Josh. I talked to Josh. So because unless something's changed, Gardner told me they weren't taking any of theirs, and Josh told me that within the agreement, they can use other things other than commercial for that type of stuff, and that's what they're trying to do. So I think it might be wise to have a,
I think we need to discuss with them, because if it comes for a decision right now, I'd be an absolute no based on what's here. Now, maybe when they come and present, they would present something a little more persuasive, but town
And I
center
think that's
zoning
why
has
they-
a
I think
very
that's why
clear
they
commercial
wanted to-
requirement. Like, they need to be providing that in some form or fashion, and, you know, the rationale that, oh, it's a long ways from the rest of the commercial, to me, doesn't hold water. Sorry. We have commercial in other parts of the county that are a long way from other commercial, and they work
It was,
just fine.
That's not what you
I
want.
think it was more of, from what Josh said, the amenities and how much area they put in single-family dwellings versus that. So anyway, I'm just passing along
We
what,
haven't approved the text amendment to TC zoning that allows them to trade that mill, have we?
That
Josh
was
said
approved.
yes.
Was that, did we do that last
Josh
meeting?
said yes.
No, that was a while ago.
It was a little while back where it allows the joint development plans
But I mean,
and
because Janet's been working on the one
Mm-hmm.
that allows them to trade like open space, ball fields, whatever, within the TC for some of their commercial space.
I think that
text
they're, well,
That was one-
and Janet will be here a little bit later, but I believe that there's some of that in the one that's already been passed, and maybe the other text amendment is just to provide more parameters.
She said she was gonna send something out, but I'm assuming since she saw the postponement, she let off the gas pedal on
Yeah.
that. Okay.
But to me,
I
it's just
agree with
frustrating.
Mike on this as
Go
well.
ahead.
Sorry, I agree with you, Mike. When I read through it, it's like they were asking a lot, and they had some great amenities, but they need some more open space. If you look at how many, 267
Yeah,
units,
267 units.
and hardly any open space to me, it looked like anyway.
Yeah,
Well, and
I
I need-
don't like that town center has now become the townhouse zone. Like, that's not what it was intended to be. It was intended to be a commercial zone with some mixed-use residential, and it's turned into, we're gonna build houses everywhere.
But it is,
And do
but
as-
it is
as little
mixed
commercial as we
use.
can.
It is mixed use though, and so there's no requirement for single family. And I think there's probably more to the story, which is why we wanted to
Yeah,
pull
we
it,
definitely
give
do.
them a
I just wanted to
chance
make the
come
comment
and-
so that they don't come in with this exact same proposal and think that, be surprised when we're not giddy about approving it immediately. That's all I guess I was
Yeah.
trying to do, is just give them something to think about and work on the next couple of weeks.
Janet, do you think they'd be open to a work session next meeting?
Do we have availability next meeting for a work
I
session?
believe, hold on, that's a great question.
I believe they'd be a lot more open to it if it was also an action item.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
Yeah,
both.
If it can be
Sure.
both, then I think,
Why
and
not?
that might be a better idea, because I don't think you guys are getting the big picture. And what documents you guys did get were really rough drafts. And so.
Yeah, I
they
mean, if
aren't
there's a bigger
accurate.
plan here we're not seeing,
a
great,
huge-
then they
there's
need
a-
to present that to us, and that's great. But I think it would be better in a work session where we can really discuss.
Yep, I think that's a great idea, as long as it's action item as
Okay.
well.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, F1,
Oh, yeah.
Sheriff Stark.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, I was under the impression, I didn't realize our contract had expired months ago.
Yep.
Kate called me, we called Wasatch Peaks.
So if you can address some of Mr. Singleton's issues and.
So
and
I,
Also, as you present
Yeah,
this,
so-
and maybe Garrett, could you also,
So
So
as
just-
for any insurance purposes, thing, no, it falls back on the county because they are doing overtime shifts for the county, for us, that we're in an agreement with Wasatch Peaks for the roads.
The other thing is, it is a special services agreement, not an interlocal agreement. I think sometimes there's some confusion because there are the road and fire district, and there's also I know there's another one. It's for like their culinary water, the utility district. So there's two districts up at the Wasatch Peaks that we have entered interlocal agreements with, but this is not an interlocal because it's with the Ranch Club LLC. So
They-
it's a special services agreement.
They also are paid in full. They have been continuing to pay, just as the county sheriff's office has continued to provide services. And the mention of the June 17th, 2025 meeting, that had nothing to do with this. That was your agreement that you entered into between Wasatch Peaks Ranch Road and Fire District and the county providing the staffing for the fire. It had nothing to do with this agreement.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasatch Peaks and myself was unaware that this was expired. So we was doing business as usual, sending them bills every month. They was paying their bill every month. They was unaware until we called them and said, hey, this is expired. Drafted up a new one. Goes, instead of doing 6 or 8 months, I think we're gonna try a year now.
So do we need to retroactively
Well, it's
ratify
not
anything or
uncommon
not?
for an agreement to expire and go month to month. I mean, that happens very
Correct,
frequently.
that just wasn't how the original was written, and to answer that question, this is an extension of the contract that was approved November 18th of 2024. It was an 8-month contract, hence it expired July 18th of 2025, as the sheriff stated. It did continue business as usual, no one caught the fact that it had expired. If you look at section, let's see, for the term, section 5, sub 3, this agreement will remain in effect for a period of 8 months from date of signing and may be canceled upon 30 days written notice to the other party. I think it was a misunderstanding that was just in perpetuity until there was a 30 days written notice to either party. And so I can see both ways why they thought it was still an active service. What did you call it? Special services agreement. But your mean county manager, who likes everything in writing, disagreed and asked that it be put back in writing.
And to answer the question about retroactive, the agreement that's on for tonight is going forward. So it'll have a new effective date. It says 12 months, and we'll need you to kind of talk about the changes from what was in the packet, because I think the packet one was the old one, so we'll need.
No, this is the one I was given.
So this one's gonna be the exact same. All the wording's the same, except for it's gonna be
commencing today and
starting
ending
today
in
and
12
going
months.
for a
And
year.
it's not gonna say 8 months.
It says 12 months, says a
So
year.
12 months commencing July 21st of 2026. And then section 5.3, I'm assuming was updated as well.
12 months.
12 months. And then after that, continuing month to month.
Then we'll sit down and see what services they
Okay.
need, or
So section 5.3.
So how do we catch that this next time, rather than?
So that
Calendar.
is a great question. So the reason this was caught is I have a lovely intern, Val Wild, one of the wild kids, and part of the project, one of the projects I had her working on was pulling every agreement that the county had back to 2010 and when it expires. So we had only got back to 2025, but in our records keeping system, we've added an additional column that we can put what date it expires. And we've also created a calendar that Jeremy has, Chloe has, Leslie has, I have, and Garrett has access to that has those expiration dates in the calendar. So it should trigger a calendar notice 120 days in advance of the term.
Awesome.
So that's how this was caught in the first place.
Okay.
and to address one more thing, Kent Singleton. So Taggart Road, we patrol that. We still patrol that. That's a public roadway. So this agreement is just for the roadway. So if we have a criminal activity up at one of the houses or one of the stores up there, we still have to investigate. But that's just because it's in our county.
I would say, so to the corrections, to what's in the packet is section 1. It's going to change to 12 months commencing today's date. And section 5.3, we're changing 8 months to 12 months from date of signing, correct?
Yes.
The amount is the same,
It is.
so that doesn't take into account prices of fuel and all that? Or are we recouping our costs?
We're still recouping our costs.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything else, Garrett? Okay, I'll look for a motion then.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agreement extension between Morgan County Sheriff and Wasatch Peaks Ranch
With the amendments.
with the amendments discussed this evening. Thank you.
Second?
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is unanimous.
I'll get those corrections and, or you already have them?
I do.
Awesome. And I'll get a scanned copy to you tomorrow. Thank you.
Chief Wilkes?
So, just a little background, another house cleaning item. We were going through assets, county assets. When the Can-Am that was previously used for the purposes of emergency management, was purchased, it was purchased with sheriff's office funds. But it was convoluted because at that time, that's back when Austin was kind of 50% and 50%. So it was hard to kind of follow the money trail of whose Can-Am it actually was, and it's the sheriff's office. So it also has sheriff's office equipment on that would not be allowable for use by the emergency management. So being that they have taken that back and moved that under their asset list, that leaves emergency management, and you also use this for what, Swift Water and other things like that, a need for a replacement UTV. And apparently if we ever need vehicles, Chief Wilkes is really good at getting,
Scroungers, what that's.
yes, bomb prices. So, sorry, just a little background on how this came to be.
So, go ahead, and then I'll ask questions afterward.
So I'm just wondering why we always are doing this before budget time. Why don't we just put this in budget?
We did not know that the UTV they were using wasn't.
But we're 2 months from budget time.
So really,
How much do you use it?
This one will be used.
Okay, what about the other one? How much does the sheriff use it? I just get tired of spending money outside of our budget system.
Yeah. The big thing is, we're going through it right now. The need for, I'm sure the sheriff can speak, is the fair, you know, that we're through the 4th, but to get around, but this one that we're asking for is really through the fire season. You know, it's not gonna end my life, but the ATV that was purchased, not by me, has a pump in it. It's fell out 2 times. It came right out, it broke brand new mountain bolts. It's not built to carry a fire pump. We have to have that to get into half of the places we have a fire. We were just trying to get it in Hogsback. We had a lightning strike 2 weeks ago that was burning, and the pump came out going through a stream. We couldn't get brush trucks into it. I mean, I'm not gonna feed you a line of crap about the amount of time, but when I need it with the fire pump in, there's really no alternative. And we're still got 2 months of fire season, if not more. And I get it, I understand, Commissioner, but this one was, like, this is almost 5,000 off retail.
So how much can you bring out of your budget to help with it? You're always asking for the full amounts. That's what's crazy about this. Why can't you look at your budget and say, we can cut back on this, that, or the other? But we have given so much stinking money to the fire department in the last 3 years. I just can't even tell you how many times I saw Boyd here. And it's just like one after another, after another, after another. And it's a ton of money, and you guys never say, we can cover this out of our budget. It's always, we want the full amount.
I'm not Boyd. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm asking you, what can you cover then?
I can't, because I'm transferring. I just did a budget transfer today out of fire in the ambulance. I'm out of money in maintenance because he didn't put enough money in maintenance. I'm 6 months through the year and I can't even pay the bills to fix a broken ambulance. So I'm doing my very best to find money, but this isn't my budget.
So why
I'm not
don't you
trying
come
to
to
make-
us like that? Why don't you say, look, this is what I've got, this is what I've tried to find, and this is what I would like to do because I don't have this, and this is, I'm already short on my budget. That's what I'd like to see rather than just, hey, we're asking for this, you know? the people are listening to what we do here, and it's their money. It's not my money. So I'm just trying to be a good steward of what we're given, and I'm asking you guys to be good stewards and explain to the public, this is what we need, this is why we need it, and we don't have the money to cover it right now. And so, I mean, I'm not jumping your crap for what Boyd's done. I'm
It's
just
okay.
saying,
No.
I would like to see fiscal responsibility from all of our people. And I think we all try and do a really good job of it, but it's great to have an explanation rather than just an ask every time.
I get it. Just to help with the fiscal responsibility, just a reminder, we had a super expensive fix on a fire truck at almost 40,000. And I spent a lot of time and effort and got that down to almost 18 grand. So I feel like I'm
Trying.
I try as best as I can. I do.
Do we have anything, Chief, in our wildland mitigation budget that could be used on this?
Not mitigation, we've dreamed that. I mean, we spent tons of money on signs this year because we had bans that got thrown up. And you know, the wild land, when it gets down to the season, again, I don't want to come in here if I blow a pump in one of the brush trucks.
Yeah, and use it all.
But I can also commit that in October, November, if we haven't spent the money that we're holding there, then we'll certainly transfer it back. I mean, that's all that really I can do.
Sure.
I don't want to come back to you and say, hey, man, we just blew a pump, because that's $25,000 in a brush truck. So we are holding some money that we haven't spent in our wildland fund. We are. I mean, there's 15,000. Don't hold me to it because I didn't look at the budget today, but
I'm not trying to call you on the carpet. I'm just trying to say
It's okay.
it's helpful
yeah.
to have the people understand where we're at, how tight our budgets are, and what we're trying to do to save their tax dollars and how we're trying to spend them wisely.
Totally understand.
So with this machine, I guess one of the things I like to do is, so this is the machine, but you're going to want to upfit it. What additional costs? I mean,
No, the
That
bid,
is-
we
You have the skid
pump.
already, right?
And if you look on
so
the,
you've got everything for that?
you attached
Yeah.
the bid, so if you look on the left column, the options, that's already in the price. Like, this is as bare bones as they build them. The one that we had is a 4-door AC, the Defender Pro and all this. So we're literally adding a windshield and a roof, because it's an open roof.
I just know, like, then they want lights and they want skid plates and winches, and
Not me.
that's why I'm asking.
I'm
like,
moving,
I saw
we're
the
gonna
roof
move
and
our
the
pump
windshield,
over, and we'll deal with the red and blue emergency lights next budget year out of our wildland. We're gonna eke through that. This was as bare bones as we felt like there is available right now.
That's like, we've talked about other departments and wanting, hey, we need a vehicle for this. Okay, well, then what goes in the vehicle?
Yeah.
You know, the vehicle's one thing, but it's everything else that goes in. That's why I ask, so.
That's why we had that shown clearly in the options and not a budget price from Wellers. I wanted that line itemed out. That's all included in that 19.7. And we have no other expected cost to put it in service. We'll do the in-house fab, unbolt it out of the ATV we've gotten, and that one was already lighted and ready for EM and for the fair and all that. It's just simply moving the pump out. We've repaired the pump damage ourselves from it falling out twice.
Okay.
That, for the benefit of the public, that pump skid was acquired through a grant a few years ago too. We did not buy that. It was, well, I mean, with taxpayer money, these grant funding to acquire that, so.
And I do appreciate all you're doing. You're doing a great job. You are doing a great job,
Yep.
so.
We're good.
And I think having the right tool for the job is critical. I mean, people think, oh, you're buying a UTV. No, we're buying a tool. That's really what we're talking about. This is a tool for them to do their job. And we want to have the right tool to do
It's
the
kind
job
of an
right.
ugly tool.
It's an expensive tool, right? But that's what it is ultimately, you know.
And just like the previous was used for emergency management and sheriff, this one will be used for emergency management and fire. So it's not like these are my toys and I'm not sharing them.
Okay, may I add or mention, we all got the email on this grant that is available for us, that right now will cover these kinds of things. I mean, it's search and rescue, police, Other things, mitigations, the outdoor recreation grant.
The outdoor recreation grant won't cover,
This one does.
well, I haven't seen it.
It just came out July 15th, and it's good until September 15th. So you might want to look at that before we decide, unless we're going to decide and then.
Well, can't we submit for it? He's got to have it
we
during.
can, yeah, I know he's got to have it now, but what I'm saying is this is a grant that we could get. Sheriff knows about it because he was in the meeting when we had those discussions at UAC. And so this one is something we could possibly have.
So that one did come out just earlier this month, but I think it's for $2 million, and it's also going to be county.
Specific.
Yes, so Morgan County will be very limited to very little of that. So
Right,
we
but-
wouldn't cover that.
But it might be something we can use. We could at least apply for it.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Because we need I mean, you guys are up at Taggart's all summer long. We're paying for all those expenses, of taking care of those people, these extra trips that we have to go and do for survival or whatever we gotta do, search and rescue out there. Those kinds of things that if you can come up with a plan, we can probably get a grant. And this grant is available right now from the 15th of July until September 15th, and it's worth looking at. And if we could get that grant, it could supply something else that we need for the future, for this next year, or for whenever we need it. There's actually 2 grants that just came out. That one and the other one I haven't looked at enough, but it's available for public safety.
I'll send it to you, Chief.
Can, does Wellers have this in stock?
It's actually, they're holding it. It's 25, the 26. So she originally, this 2 weeks ago, when this went down 3 weeks ago, I called her and she goes, another agency's going to their commission tonight. She called me the next day and said they decided to buy a nicer than $35,000 one. So they're holding on until a decision was made. We didn't have to commit to it, but it's sitting there. Literally, if it's approved, we'll let her know tomorrow, and we'll probably have it at the end of the week. It's set and ready to go, and all the parts to go on it, she said, was a couple of days.
That's great. And appreciate just shopping around trying to find the best deal.
Yeah, it's,
Because you're right, these side-by-sides can be very expensive.
well, the air-conditioned
Yeah, 30 grand.
Polaris one that we have the pump on now is like $37,000. It's nuts. Could buy a car for that.
Okay, I'll look for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve, we purchase of a UTV for use by the emergency management and fire departments at a cost of $19,708.80, and the transition of funds from the general fund balance to the fire and emergency management budget to cover the cost.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hang in there, Raylene. We're getting there.
Okay, so I'm taking over for Casey on this one. This one is actually pretty easy. The county commission, which I did put it in the packet, in 2020 passed this same resolution, which is essentially picks up is the expression, the percentage of public service contributions for EORS employees under the public safety tier 2. At the time, we didn't have any firefighters that were under tier 2. We now have one that is Dave Olson. And this, in order for us to do the same thing for fire, where did my page go? Here we go. We have to pass the same resolution that you guys did in 2020. In 2020, it should have been passed as the entire title, which is public safety and firefighters, but it just passed as public safety. This will cost us $430.09, which will not require a budget adjustment.
Okay. Any questions?
Not at all.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve, do we have a resolution?
It is CR
I move that
2639.
we approve resolution CR 26-39, resolution authorizing the employer, Morgan County, to pick up member retirement contributions for tier 2 firefighter employees.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is unanimous. Okay.
So, the commission postponed number 4.
Yep, to date
Okay, so
certain,
we-
August 4th.
Thank you so much. Almost there. 169. Okay. Is this Kent? Is this Janet?
Kent.
Is it both? Is it team effort? Okay. Okay.
So just to clarify for the work session for the Eagle Vista,
Yeah.
the flagship, do you want to have a work session?
The
and-
same day, yeah.
Same day?
As the
August
action
4th?
item.
Okay. This next item is just a development agreement amendment for Rollins Ranch.
Oh, I apologize. 162 starts the packet. Sorry, Kent. There you go. There's all your smartness. Okay.
So it's essentially it's just a change in ownership for parcel A from the homeowners association to the Mark and Jennifer Hancock Revocable Trust. It doesn't change any other items with the development agreement. So it's just ownership of parcel A. If you have any particular questions, I'll be glad to address them at this time. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on this proposal on July 9th, and it was passed unanimously. There was some discussion about whether there'd be public access to the trails, and the commission was told that the trail system would remain open to the public, and that and they revised the public access agreement would be the same as the original development agreement. It would remain unchanged. So if you have any particular questions, I'll be glad to address those at this time. I'm glad that Janet is here. This is been a little bit confusing to follow with the history.
I was able to talk to Josh. I didn't know he was on vacation, but he called me back. He was kind enough to call me back, so I don't have any questions on him.
Yeah, I don't either. I do know there was a point where we did a development or an adjustment to this particular project and removed some property that was common area property where we really should have put a road. This was quite a few years ago. I don't believe that is the case with this particular parcel, so I'm not concerned about that, but just wanted to state that is something that we need to watch for if we have any future projects where they intend to take common area parcels and make them private or sell them to a private entity, that we're not doing that for a space that really should be a future road or future connectivity.
And I think Josh told me that the amount that they paid for this parcel of ground, the HOA is going to use to develop and put a lot of amenities on there to make it nice, so and everybody can use it. So
I think that's great.
So this will be privately owned property, but the HOA is going to use the funds from the sale to improve the property.
Correct.
Oh, okay. I was like, this is really, that's kind of
So, it's just a minor thing. My understanding is they purchased the property, I think, for like 100,000, and that money's going to fund the HOA that has no money.
Okay.
But in their LURA, that land use restriction agreement, they agreed in that agreement that they would, with their other money, install all the improvements.
the new owner will install.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
I was kind of
Hancock's
reading
will.
through there.
Are you the owner?
This is Joe Siggety, their attorney.
Go ahead. Maybe you can clarify it for us, just to.
My name is Joe Siggety, attorney for Mark and Jen Hancock. The improvements are already finished. Trails are in, there's a pavilion in, bridges are in. All the work on the parcel that we're talking about today is already finished. The purchase price amount, we don't have an HOA, I don't know what they're planning on doing with it. The purchase price amount will be used for other projects in the HOA, not necessarily on this parcel of land. There's been talk of pickleball courts, there's been talk of some exercise areas, but that would have to go to a vote with the HOA members.
I thought it was a lot more than 100,000.
I think it was closer to 600 or 700.
$675,000.
Yeah. It's a pretty significant amount for the HOA.
Well, thank you for the clarification.
So I've got a question, and whoever can answer it. It says on page 163, it says bridges, benches, trailhead signage, overlooks, so forth may be permitted if the county determines during the applicable review process that they are part of or incidental to the trail system contemplated by the development agreement and are otherwise permitted within native open space. Other proposed improvements, including a park, playground, or independent recreational facility, may not be permitted. So what does that mean?
So if you look at the breakdown sheet that they have attached, I think, to the land use agreement or was included in the packet, they mentioned parks and things in that inventory. And I don't know that you can put a park in native open space. And so it would have to follow whatever the development agreement and the overlay concept plans say can be on that native open space.
So basically what we're approving then today is basically an agreement that was made 2 years ago.
Correct. That they
Without
couldn't do.
that they should not have done, and
Correct.
that we can now approve that because it has to go before us.
So we're not approving their agreement. We are referencing their agreement in our approval of the Sixth Amendment to the development agreement.
Right, okay.
We're not ratifying that. That's a separate agreement that the county's not a party to, but we are cleaning up
Some messes.
what was not allowed by the development agreement 2 years ago when it was transferred.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Just one comment on how the agreement was made. It was very much a handshake agreement at the time. There weren't any attorneys involved. So they went ahead and did it, not realizing that there was this prohibition on the sale of private owners of HOA open space land. And so, like you said, we're just cleaning up some, whatever was required at the time.
It's the first thing we've had to clean up.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we,
Before,
Public
sorry,
hearing.
Public hearing.
Okay.
we go into public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton to go into public hearing and a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Is there anyone that would like to, online or here, speak in our open meeting? Okay, seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
I'll move that we close the public hearing and reconvene the public meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve ordinance CO.
So sorry, now
You
this is
opposed?
where I was going to interrupt you. Because we've made just a few clarifications. If we go to where it has the county ordinance.
That motion was unanimous, by the way.
So, well, the ordinance, let me see if I can find.
On the findings,
229, 230? No, that's
Oh,
the
there it is.
166?
There you go. 226.
226, yep.
There it is, okay.
All right, so if we scroll down to the third page of this, initially, these were, and I have to thank Janet for drafting this because she put a lot of detail in, which is helpful to tell the story and maintain the record. One that was the condition of approval, it was more put in just to clarify and make sure that these things were incorporated into the document. We kind of talked about just amending it so that we don't have to approve it subject to these conditions. It will just be these conditions have been incorporated. And so, anyway, section 4, we're suggesting that be removed based upon the additions to the Sixth Amendment to the development agreement. where, I guess I'll just go through it quickly. In the packet, it's titled the Fifth Amendment. And I think that that was maybe before attorneys got involved, that they thought it was the Fifth Amendment. And so now we're just cleaning up some of the documents that they had put in before. Janet, do you have more to
That
add?
is correct. The Fifth Amendment was the amendment where they sold common space, not native open space, to private individuals there. So, and we didn't know about that. So.
And that may have been the one that Commissioner Newton was referring to earlier that happened a few years back. So in the packet, it says Fifth Amendment to the Development Agreement. That's been updated to Sixth Amendment. So that's one of the changes that satisfies 4A. 4B.
Where does it say fifth?
So that would be, if you go to the next, yeah, if you scroll down.
Right here?
Are you saying in the ordinance itself or in?
Where you're saying you're changing the wording, where does it say fifth?
So
You're
you
saying
would-
strike section 4.
Yeah, so we'll strike section 4, and I was just going through where 4A through D are now going to be in the
Okay.
in the Sixth Amendment to the Development Agreement, which in the packet was labeled Fifth Amendment. So we're updating everything to say Sixth Amendment instead of Fifth from what was in the packet. But that's because that's how it was sent to you.
Oh, sweet.
So
Okay.
it's not your fault. It's our fault. Well, it's just a rather than having it be a condition that we have to go back, we can sign it tonight and get it recorded.
So you're asking him to include that in his motion?
Yeah,
is that
in the
what you-
motion that we remove section 4 and update section 5 and 6 to remove conditional approval, that it's just approved completely. That's in the ordinance. And then in the Development Agreement amendment, all references to Fifth Amendment are updated to the Sixth Amendment.
Did you get that, Mike?
Yeah. And then I'll give you 3 more, but they're very minor.
I mean, I'm not gonna list them all for the motion.
Okay, you can just say as articulated.
What was discussed, yep.
And so to satisfy 4B that we're removing from the ordinance, in the amendment to the second whereas on page 2, we'll add said agreement is included solely for reference and does not constitute county approval or ratification of said agreement. The Hancock Park Master Plan, any associated budget or timeline, or any proposed use or improvement. Right after that, for 4C, we'll add another paragraph that says, whereas the Hancock Trust understands that any proposed use or improvement remains subject to separate county review and all approvals required by the development agreement, Morgan County Code, and applicable law. And then on page 3, under the last whereas, the last sentence will be amended to read, additionally, the Hancock Trust recognizes that it may not convey parcel A to a successor without prior written county approval through an amendment to the development agreement. And that would reference back to ordinance 4D that we're removing. So all of those conditions of approval are now just incorporated into the development agreement, and we can get the ordinance signed tonight.
Okay, good call on that one, Mike.
And that was, sorry, that I just wanted to, a couple months ago in our, one of our meetings, we discussed not passing ordinances that are not able to be signed tonight. So we can make these adjustments tonight. If it's approved, we
Yeah.
can make it
Sounds like
adjustments.
you've
have it
already
signed
made
tonight.
I've already made
So,
them, and they're
okay.
ready for
So we can print
signature,
it.
if you're okay with those changes.
I just wanted to make sure, because I know that was one of the things we discussed a couple months ago, is not passing things that are not ready to be signed tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being flexible to make those live here. Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve ordinance CO 26-15, which is a Sixth Amendment to the Rollins Ranch Development Agreement, including all of the items mentioned by the county attorney this evening. Yeah, I guess that's it.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Leslie. Last one, Raylene. Just hang in there one.
All right.
The longest one of the night right here too. So.
I'm here seeking approval of CR 2634, making changes to the county budget for the second quarter. This resolution will be making changes, department adjustments, fund balance adjustments, grants we have received, other fund adjustments, and a fund transfer. The fund balance adjustments have been approved by you in previous meetings. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm so glad that we're doing these on a quarterly basis. It's just so much better than the old method. So thank you for,
And I love that we're approving fund balance ones on a one-on-one before we get to here.
Yes.
yes, yeah, I mean, it makes the
Leslie's
budgeting
not
process better and
So I don't have to answer for
Answering
department
for
heads.
17 departments and elected offices.
so, Mr. Chair, I move that we go into public hearing for item number 6.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the public meeting.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Newton, second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve Resolution CR 26-34, resolution of the Morgan County Commission adopting certain amendments to Morgan County's 2026 budget.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Leslie, do you have a printed copy?
Commissioner Blocker, do you have anything before you go to bed?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck and travel safely.
Thanks, Raylene.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
staying with us.
Aye.
Commissioner Newton?
I'll just give a quick update on our fairgrounds projects. The fair starts Saturday with the parade, and we'll have an ATV rodeo that day and then a dance that evening. Information on fair schedules available on the website, morgancountyfair.org. All households in the county should have also received a schedule in the mail. They are actively, all of the speakers, they finished installing for the new sound system today. One of the screens is mostly installed, and they'll have the second screen completely installed by tomorrow morning. They expect to then spend the next 2.5 days doing programming and making sure everything functions correctly. Troubleshooting. As far as our asphalt project goes, we did discover yesterday evening that our internet connection between some of the facilities was disrupted when the asphalt was removed, the old asphalt. So the Public Works Department was able to get some conduit, and they're gonna, I think they'll put that in tomorrow morning. They were doing the grading on the for the new asphalt. Our grader unfortunately blew a head gasket, so it's out of commission. So we did have to hire a third party to come in and do the grading work. Then we'll put in that conduit for the internet cable, and then they will pave on Thursday. So a lot to do over there. If you go over there right now, you're gonna wonder if we're gonna have a fair, but we will, and it'll be ready. It's gonna be a little bit chaotic for the next couple of weeks. Well, the next couple of days getting ready, and then the fair is going to be chaotic a little bit, but that's the way it always is. So anyway, for the public, please come out, support the Morgan County Fair. Even if you just come over and have dinner every night, we hope you'll do that. There's lots of activities planned: horse pulls, rodeos, ATV rodeos, junior rodeo, lots of great stuff. Come and enjoy and spend some money in our county and frequent our businesses and eat some good fair food. That's all I had.
Commissioner Fackrell?
Question I have for Mike. Is there any thought about increase in the recycling portion of the garbage system to where they can come more often?
We could talk about that. It's really amounts to whether we want to pay the hauler to come up and do another round. So our hauling costs are approximately $5 every month currently for that. It would increase our cost by about $5 a month if that was something that we wanted to do.
Okay. And
With
if
current prices, that could change.
somebody get an extra unit if they wanted?
Yes, I believe so. You could request
Request
an
that.
additional recycling can. I don't see why not.
And has the program been successful?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We are currently running what they call it single stream recycling, which is everything goes in one can. It goes down to the material recovery facility. That material is unloaded and then put through the facility and sorted. Right now, that facility is running about 6.5 to 7 hours per day, which is really a full shift because you have some startup time and close time. The system is set up that it could be run up to 24 hours a day if we want to have multiple shifts and had enough material to need to do that. But right now, there's not enough material to do that. But we are diverting a fair amount from the landfill. And more importantly, because currently all of the household waste that goes to Layton is not being landfilled there. It's actually being put in trucks and trucked 100 miles south to a landfill that's south of Utah Lake. We, as members of the Wasatch Integrated Board, Wasatch Integrated is a quarter owner in that landfill that's down south of Utah Lake. And so we're delivering that to that particular landfill has more than 100 years of life left in it. There's plenty of room out there. But we have, in the most recent study for Wasatch Integrated, initially we were told 12 to 15 year life on the landfill down here in Layton, but with the diversion we've been doing both in trucking south and in the recycling, the most recent was 21 years. So we have extended the life of the landfill a bit. In some recent discussions with that board, we've kind of been trying to decide how to continue that, whether we continue to ramp up how much we're trucking away to try to extend the life or leave it be. Obviously, it's a lot more expensive to truck it south than it is to just landfill it there. But anyway, yes, it has been successful, I would say. There are still some opportunities out there. There's still a couple of cities in the district that are not currently doing recycling. And there's some opportunity to add them. And there's also some areas where there's some opportunity to add curbside recycling, or excuse me, curbside green waste. That's not a big deal for our county or Morgan City because we have so much rural area. You know, I always tell them at that board meeting, my grass goes over the fence and into the cow and I don't put it in my garbage can. But that's something, they actually have been awarded a grant, a federal grant. It's fairly large, $3 or $4 million grant that will help build more pads to do composting. So they'll be able to take that green waste and compost it. That has been, the funding on that has been delayed now 4 months in a row from the federal government. So we're waiting for them to finally release the funding, but all of the environmental work has been done so they can start construction as soon as the funding comes through. So they'll be able to expand that, and then their intent is there's a couple of cities on the Wasatch Front that will start green waste recycling, curbside green waste, and deliver to that project. On that note, you can go down to the Davis landfill and pick up wood chips or mulch at a really reasonable cost. It's very inexpensive. It's good stuff. They sort it or screen it really nicely, so it's nice stuff. If you do that, just make sure you take a tarp to cover your load, because if you don't, they're gonna either make you buy a tarp or you're gonna get a fine.
And they sell by the bag there too.
They do. Yeah, you can get bagged
Bag
too.
as well.
Yeah, if you don't want to do
It's
a
much
bulk.
cheaper by the ton.
Yep.
I'll cover your trail.
Cover your load, in and out of there.
So, didn't Wholesome Plant used to buy some of the?
So they don't buy it. They they take it and burn it. So part of what's sorted out in the material recovery facility is what we call engineered fuel. It's basically non-recyclable plastics. So your saran wraps and your cups and stuff that are non-recyclable, those get bundled up. They bale them into bales, they put them on a truck, and then they haul them up to the plant here. It's actually not the plant that buys it or that takes it, it's Geocycle that has a facility there at the plant. Geocycle shreds it and then feeds it into the kiln there. One thing that's kind of slowed the amount that can go there is that they don't have the capability to feed that material into the main burner. It's into one of the secondary burners. And they've been talking for a lot of years about changing that, but until they renovate the plant to do main burner capability, they won't be able to take as much quantity. That being said, they use tire shreddings. They get a lot of the cuttings off of diapers from Kimberly-Clark, not used diapers, but as they make diapers, there's cuttings that come off. They bundle that up and haul it up there and burn it in the kiln as well. So
that
a portion
extends
does go
life
there.
then.
We sell every other recyclable that we can. Sometimes they will hold on to it and wait until the value is a little better to try to sell it. They don't hold on to a lot, but occasionally. And, some months aluminum is really high and the district makes some money on that, which is great because that keeps our costs down, anything they can bring in revenue. And speaking of revenue, there is a thrift store down there at the facility. And it brings in actually a significant amount of revenue, over $10,000 a month in revenue to the district, which helps offset our costs, but is also a great opportunity. So if you're looking for something, and it's not like this is stuff that's been thrown in somebody's garbage can and fished out. It's generally stuff that people take down and they're going to toss anyway, and instead of throwing it into the landfill, they grab it and take it into the thrift store. That's also the same facility where you can take hazardous waste. So if you have paint, oils, that sort of thing, they will take that for free as long as it's within certain quantities. If you show up there with a 50-gallon barrel of oil, they're going to question that. But if you had, I think it's 10 or 12 gallon or something like that.
I took some paint down back springtime. I think I took like 35 gallons of paint that I'd used in 5-gallon buckets and just sit around the curb.
They'll take it.
They just took it.
Where's that at?
So that's right at the thrift store location. So it's just inside the gate to the left when you go up to the landfill.
Go in the gate, straight to the left, and you continue on the landfill.
Yeah, and the other thing to note on that is there's a shed there where they will put, if there's good paint or chemicals that are still good, they will put that in that shed and you can actually go get those for free. So if you ever needed paint to cover something and you only need a little bit and you don't really care what you're getting, go down there and check it out because you might be able to get a free bucket of paint to paint something up.
Come see me. I'll get some buckets of paint.
All right.
Anyway,
I was just curious
a lot
because
of good
people have
stuff.
asked me about it. Is it helping? Can they get more cans of recycling versus the other?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't know that I'm not sure that we've priced a second can for recycling, but we certainly could.
As a commission, but
it would probably be the same cost as the first can, but we can talk about that if you need to.
Because it's worthwhile because some people don't put anything out in weight because they've got chickens or cows or whatever, but they don't put anything in the wet one, and everything's dry, and so people have asked about it.
Yeah, we could definitely.
I appreciate it. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay, Commissioner Nickerson? Okay, I don't have anything.
I have one quick thing. Just wanted to say thank you to Rocky Mountain Power. They had heard your commission meeting, last commission meeting, and stepped up with an $1,865 contribution towards the benches at Ken Smith Park and a new basketball hoop at Croydon.
Wow.
So.
Thank you, Rocky Mountain.
Thank you.
The benches are being put together by your Public Works Department. They are here, and your
Basketball
son.
hoop is being used. My son put it together.
Your
I
son
did
put it
not.
together. So.
No warranty on that crap.
So if you'd like to sign a thank you card to them, or to Logan Taggart, I'd greatly appreciate it.
That's awesome.
That's all I have, Chair.
They heard?
They heard it?
The meeting?
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And they're also interested in sponsoring, because we have to replace a lot of our football helmets next year. I don't know, it's been a minute since we've all played football. The new football helmets run between $350 and $675 a piece. What? Yep, and they expire like car seats. So we have a whole bunch of helmets in our recreation department for our football program, which is obviously huge, that need to be replaced next year. And so we are working with them on a grant, now, so that we are ready to budget for that for next year. So just a thank you to Rocky Mountain Power. Thank you. That's all.
All right.
Okay, I'll look for motion to leave.
I move that we
All right,
adjourn.
my-